What's in the box?
The Xbox Series X by Microsoft.
This is the Xbox Series X episode of the Hard Mode Gaming Podcast. We're your hosts. The old
Xbox and
the old
PS5.
MIDI boy and the Xbox.
So,
We've now had
the Xbox for...
how many days? 5?
We got a Tuesday, I think.
6? 7? 8?
5 days.
9? 10?
We've had it for 5 days.
11?
12?
13?
Could
We've had
be
it
any
for 5
number.
days, okay? So we've spent some time with it. We've played all the games that it has available for it because there aren't any. So we've ripped through those the second we got it. Yeah, let's start with the controller.
It's the same thing.
It's pretty much the same exact thing. There's no difference.
They added some grips to the back and the triggers. There's a new share button that they copied from PlayStation.
Which, honestly, I'm not upset that they didn't make drastic changes. It's a good controller.
I wish it had the haptic feedback of the PS5
we're a little
controller.
spoiled now, feeling the haptic feedback stuff in the PS5.
I definitely think that they improved the rumble feel from the
it feels
Xbox
nicer.
One. And the controller does feel slightly better in your hands from the grips and stuff.
Both the new consoles controllers no longer you're playing a game and the rumble means you're all right, I'm playing, and it's like a jackhammer in your hand. It feels like it's realistic,
sensitive,
I guess, kind of
to how
to what's happening in the game.
And then I also have the Elite 2 controller,
Elite
which is pretty
2.
good.
Elite
And I
2.
like having the paddles in the back. It's pretty sweet. But that thing's outrageously expensive. And it's not necessary at all. If you can...
It's really not that big of a step up to spend that
and
extra money.
it weighs 15 pounds. You're holding a weight in
the
your
paddles
hands.
and everything make it like a dumbbell.
So the controller is, you know what it is. You've used it if you've played the Xbox One.
It's this Xbox One controller, except slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little bit better, but it's not that.
It's not gonna blow your mind.
We spent 20 minutes talking about the PS5 controller because it's completely different. And there's all these new features. The Xbox Series X one really isn't that different, which is fine. I'm not upset about it. It's fine. It's fine how it is.
So then, the console
If it ain't broke,
itself.
don't fix it.
The console itself, the operating system, the interface, the UI is the same.
It's pretty much the same exact thing, which again, I'm not upset about.
It is definitely way smoother than the Xbox One, and it loads way quicker, and there's no lag between pressing the buttons.
We talked about how the PS5 UI and the menus and everything changed, but I felt like the PS4 one sucked.
Yeah, and the PS5 was an improvement.
So the PS5 one's an improvement, where I don't feel like the Xbox One was bad.
And
it could have been better, but it wasn't bad.
They definitely updated some things that make it look a little cleaner. It's definitely faster. Because I remember before, getting the guide to load up, or your dashboard to load up took a second. Or even when you're on the dashboard and you rotate to the store, it would take a while. This is obviously way smoother, way faster, and they changed some fonts and stuff like
small
that.
Things,
yeah, small things to basically make it a more clean experience, which I think all of it is a good improvement, but it is extremely similar to what already exists, so there's not much to say about it. It's good, it's fine.
It's basically a better version of the Xbox One at this point.
Yeah.
It is better, it's faster, and it's cool. But that's pretty much it.
Yes.
There's not that much going on.
So then there's, as far as exclusive games, it's just what was available already. There's nothing new exclusive. The only new gen experiences you can have are Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Watch Dogs, anything that has a
third party.
Yeah. But I will say, with the Game Pass, it's pretty outrageous how many games you can have that already exist. It's insane.
Yeah, the Xbox Game Pass is probably the best thing you can buy
if you like video games.
if you like to play a lot of different games. Like if you have like a kid and you don't feel like buying him a game every 2 weeks that he's gonna play and then give up on or whatever, you can literally spend like $10 a month and he just instantly has
every game.
So many games.
And plus they just added all of EA stuff, so you have the Titanfalls, the Battlefield,
the sports,
the
games.
Star Wars games, anything from EA basically. It's pretty ridiculous how much is on there.
It is a good value for the price.
They just added the Dragon Quest remaster, which I downloaded. I downloaded Doom Eternal because that's on there now.
Even if you just want to play a single player, even a multiplayer game, if you normally play games only for like a month or two, it's obviously way cheaper to spend $10 or $15 or whatever a month than to buy the $60 game.
There's a ton of games we're not mentioning too, like the Halo games, the Rare classic games that they have, Hellblade. There's so many you can't name them all.
Hellblade's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of games on Game Pass, and it's a good value.
What I've been playing, we played some Halo. The load times are boom.
They are actually, it's weird because if you're used to playing, like we were playing Halo CE, and
on Master Chief Collection.
And obviously if you're used to that game, like the original,
it takes a long time.
It's long loading screens, and it was like every single one was just boop, done.
Yep. So I played some Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is like the new one that came out this year, which is really good. I remember playing on my Xbox One X when it first came out, and there were some hiccups with like when a lot of things were happening. It would kind of like slow down, performance frames would drop,
like stutter a little bit.
Yeah, it would stutter a bit, and on this it is like lightning. It runs extremely smooth. I'm getting consistent 4K 120 frames, like it's buttery smooth.
I love buttery smooth.
And then I played some Doom Eternal. It runs extremely smooth. Load times are almost non-existent. And then there's also the quick resume, which
that is rad.
Is pretty dope. So like the other night I was playing something, and then we were going to play some Battletoads, which we played some co-op Battletoads together, and like I can quit out of the game, go to Battletoads, play that for like 2 hours, and then go back to the other game and just be exactly where I was instantaneously. Like it's instant.
It's cool.
I also checked out I wanted to play some more Sekiro because I've never beaten it. I'm probably going to play through it again, and it is considerably smoother on this console than it was on the Xbox One X. Frames are better, stability's better, load times are better. So like if you like the games that you already have and you want to keep playing them, like Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Ori, whatever you like, if you do get the new Xbox, it's going to be a considerably improved performance.
Better experience.
As far as frame rates, load times,
closer to playing it on a PC.
Everything, yeah. It's you can definitely tell, especially in Sekiro, which is probably like 30-ish frames on the Xbox One. You can definitely tell it's probably around 60 frames. I don't have a test to like say that, but you can tell it performs better.
It's a step up in the right direction.
So the quick resume works pretty well.
It's a really cool feature.
Yeah, and you can have like 5 games open.
Yeah, if you're like somebody that swaps between games, maybe you're playing a single player game, then you want to go play a multiplayer game with your friends or whatever, you can literally just stop and go to the other game.
Or like you're playing a game, your kid comes home, he wants to play, then he goes to bed, you can switch back and just click on it. Right where you were.
Where you left off, even if you like forgot to save or
whatever. I would say the quick resume takes maybe 5 to 6 seconds. Like you press the game, the like title card shows up, and then you're just where you were.
Standing exactly in the location where you left off.
It'll have you paused and just standing there, and it's literally right where you were. So that is a really cool feature that I think PlayStation you can only have one game open at a time, and I will say it does open like pretty much instantly as soon as you fire up the console, but the Xbox can do like 5 games at once, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
I
don't know if I personally would ever need 5 games at once, but I'm sure other people do.
Yeah, and even if it's like 2 or 3 and you're switching instantly, and the other thing is the load times, like you're going to be looking at Twitter way less because there's no waiting on these consoles.
You can't look at your phone for a second. Like that's usually your break time. Like, oh, I'm going to check the social needs. I'm going to answer a few texts. Like, it's not going to happen.
Has there been any game that you've played on either console that is like loaded for a considerable amount of time? I don't think I've ever had anything load more than like a few seconds max.
Both consoles load things faster than my computer does.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 100%.
Uh-huh. And I kind of want to download like Warzone and see how it performs on there compared to my PC.
Really like
isn't optimized.
Hard, like pushes it.
So the Xbox, that was obviously a very quick conversation about the Xbox because there is really not much to say about it. It's the Xbox One, but just increased performance and the hardware is better.
Which, I mean, in general, that's pretty much what the PS5 is. But when we talked about the PS5, we had a bunch of games to talk about.
The controller.
Xbox doesn't really have any games to talk about that are new to the Xbox Series X. We've played games on it, but they've all been games that we could have played on the Xbox One.
Yes.
We just didn't. And we really wanted to play games on it because we wanted to see how everything ran and stuff.
And once a game comes out on it, like also that Immortals Phoenix Rising or whatever, I think is optimized for that, which we might play at some point. But there's really not much to say about changes. It's just a better performing
Xbox One.
They
took the Xbox One and they made everything that it does way better.
It's basically like putting new parts in your PC, except it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
So like if you're looking for a very high performing Xbox that can run games very quickly, there's no load times, you can switch between games instantly, you can have the Game Pass, all that stuff, then this console is great. But if you're looking for like games right now that are brand new and you're trying to rip through exclusives,
even if you're playing, like a cross-gen or a cross-platform game like Fortnite, Warzone, whatever, and you feel like you're at a disadvantage with your frame rate on your
original
Xbox One compared to people on PC. Like most people on PC, you're gonna be getting similar frames on an Xbox Series X. Like
maybe better.
You're pretty much gonna keep up.
There's
maybe better as well.
There aren't many PCs that people have that can run like 4K 120 frames,
and it's $500. So
and it's $500.
You're looking at like a $1,500 to $2,000 PC to probably run as well as this thing does for like those games, and it's $500 console, which is expensive for a console, but it's dirt cheap for a PC, which is basically what it is.
Yeah. So as of right now, do you recommend the Xbox?
Honestly, it depends what you play.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because for me personally, if I play multiplayer games, I play shooters. I don't really play like MMOs. I don't play any of that strategy games. I don't play MOBAs, none of that crap. So if I'm playing multiplayer games, it's pretty much shooters. So I primarily play shooters on PC. So those multiplayer games are usually on my PC. So what I usually use consoles for are single player, story games, platformers, those types of games. So to me, I don't really have a use for the Xbox Series X right now because there are no new ones that I couldn't play on my Xbox One X. The PS5 has new games that I can only get on PS5 that I prefer to play on consoles, so that is obviously, now is a good time to get it. If, however, you have an Xbox One and you play all of your games on that's your only place to play, and when you get an Xbox Series X, are you going to want new games, or do you just want to keep playing Fortnite, or do you just want to keep playing Warzone, or do you just want to keep playing whatever you play? Because if that's the case, sure, get it. It's just going to run better.
Mm-hmm.
If all you have played since March is Warzone, and you're just gonna keep doing that until next March,
this is gonna make it perform way better.
Just get it, and it'll perform better. I mean, I don't know.
So I pretty much agree. It depends on what you're looking at. If you want Game Pass and you want games to run really well, then this console's pretty incredible. Like, you instantly have like over 100 games you can download. They'll all run at peak performance, potentially better than on PC. Like,
my PC, definitely.
It's pretty insane how many games you can play, and there is definitely noticeable differences in performance on video games and also just the dashboard in general. But if you're looking for something like completely changed and new, then this console is not that.
Yeah, there's no
frills.
It didn't launch with a new Halo. It doesn't have a crazy new UI. The controller's not crazy different. As of right now, it's literally just a new console that will run all your games better.
And yeah, and it has some new features like the quick resume. There's no load times, essentially. Like, I don't think since we've gotten the Xbox and the PS5, I've had a game load for longer than maybe 5 seconds.
It's spoiling me because I've been playing Prey on PC, which still didn't have like crazy load times, but that and like Warzone and stuff there's loading screens. And I'm like, it feels even longer now because I've been playing PS5 and Xbox Series X, and it's like every single game, I don't even notice that it has to load because it's just instant.
Yeah. So on the Xbox Series X, I've played Battletoads, Halo, Ori, Sekiro, and Dragon Quest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's... Oh, and I tried Doom Eternal a little bit.
Yes.
All of those had barely any load times, and the games that I had played previously definitely ran smoother.
Yeah, obviously.
I've heard that Gears 5 has less input lag and better performance on there.
That was the biggest thing with Gears 5. Because, like, obviously we played that on PC and Xbox One, so we knew, like, the comparison.
Mm.
And once you played Gears 5 on PC...
There's no going back.
It was unplayable on Xbox One. It was, like, literally, it was unplayable because the input lag was so noticeable. If you only ever play on console, and, like... then it's easy to just stick with that. You don't notice, but once you play it on something that runs it better...
Yes.
There's no
so if you're a Gears 5 person and like that's all you play, this console is probably great because their frames per second, the input lag is improved, the everything. So that game, like if you're a big Gears fan,
guarantee you have lost shotgun fights because somebody else has no input lag and you do.
Yes. So I can recommend the Xbox if you have Game Pass and you want games to just run like butter and load instantly. Like we said, it's not gonna blow your mind. It's not this huge game changer. Like there are some features that are definitely steps up for sure. Like really cool, but there's nothing here that's going to
once some games come out, well worth it. Just as much so as the PS5, I think.
Yes, I think both consoles are good improvements, good steps forward, especially the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller.
Especially if that's your only option for playing games. Like if you're someone who just buys one console a generation, that's where you play games. No PC stuff, no Nintendo, like none of that stuff. If that's your one source of playing games, I honestly think either console is well worth it at this point. PlayStation, obviously, right now, because they have brand new games.
And that controller.
Yeah, and the controller is really freaking dope.
So, overall, the Xbox it's similar, but better performing, and that's really all there is to the Series X right now. The S we have not played, so we can't speak to that, but I imagine it's probably also
very
in the same boat.
Yeah.
Just slightly... less performance as far as resolution and frames per second, but it has the same features, I believe, like the quick resume and stuff. It has all that, right?
Yep.
So That is the Series X from Microsoft.
The Microsoft Xbox Series X.
That's, I mean...
Also, we did not talk about the size, which we did talk about
It
with
is,
the PS5.
oh yeah.
It's literally like almost, it's probably slightly more than half the size of a PS5. It's probably like 60%
It's very
of a PS5.
small. It's much
It's
smaller
way
than I
smaller
thought
than
it
a
was
PS5.
going to be.
Like that's the console that got absolutely shredded for looking like a refrigerator that everybody thought was going to be big, and it looks tiny next to a PS5. Like we
Yes.
literally have it sitting next to the PS5, and it's
much smaller.
it's significantly.
It is
smaller.
not as big as they made it seem in the photos, and
It's like this.
yeah, it's
And
not
the
very
PS5
big.
is like this.
It's the Series X is probably, like, in terms of volume, probably similar to the Xbox One X, except it's just more square and
The
not
like
as
compact one.
yeah, it's more compact.
And the PlayStation 5 is bigger than the original Xbox One.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's huge.
It's massive.
The PS5's
The
outrageous.
PS5 is basically a spaceship in your living room.
Yeah, it's really big.
It's big.
But I like them both. I've enjoyed playing games on both of them so far, so
Yeah, they're really cool. Cool new way to play games. It's going to give a lot of people who, like we said, only play a single console per generation. It's going to give a lot of those people a really good experience.
and
if they've never played like true high frame rate PC games, because it's going to be a similar experience with most games on these consoles.
and if you can snag a 4K TV on sale and a console, you'll still spend less than $1,000, and you'll have performance that's as good as a PC, if not better.
Pretty darn good 4K performance, as well as even if you just want to play in 1080, your performance will be even better. So it's either way. I mean, obviously, I think almost everyone plays Warzone in 1080. I know, like, even people with freaking like 3090 still play in 1080 because Warzone runs so poorly. So if you play that in 1080 on a Xbox Series X,
You're good.
easy clap.
So, do you have anything else as far as the Xbox?
I don't think so, other than I just want games.
Yeah, I am looking forward to what Halo turns out to be. I really hope it doesn't suck.
If I had a wish list for Halo Infinite, it would be that there is no sprinting in multiplayer, which I already know is not going to happen. It would be that they remove all the weird abilities and loadouts and crap like that, which I also do not think is going to happen. And just bring back all the old customizable everything from like Halo 3, Reach, like those games with the XP, the leveling, the ranks, the armor sets, the customization, the custom games you could make, the maps you could make in Forge, like Firefight, the theater mode, like file sharing, like everything that was in that. If they came out and said we have all this stuff, that way, you know, if you don't like using all these abilities and all that crap, just make your own freaking whatever you want. Just go do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be incredible. That's all I want from Halo, because I've pretty much given up on campaigns at this point, because I think 343 is just not it with that stuff.
Their campaigns are...
Playing as not Master Chief is just not for me.
Yeah, the campaigns for 4 and 5. 4 was better than 5, campaign-wise.
I think 5 totally lost me with the campaign.
5's multiplayer was better than 4, but 4's campaign was better than 5.
Agreed.
They
Like,
lost that...
4, I felt like I was like leaning away from it in the campaign, but they still had me a little bit. And then 5, I was like, this is dumb.
Mm-hmm. The Prometheans, is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
They're not fun to fight.
Mm-mm.
They're not fun to fight. And
It's the same crap over and over.
Their level design is more like constricting
it's
and
lackluster. It doesn't feel like you have a full open space. Like the old Halo, like Halo 1, like we were just playing Halo 1. Like the first few levels of Halo 1, there's so many different ways to go. You get like that second level when you crash the plane and there's just a wide open field. You're running through like mountains and then you drive a warthog and all that crap. I don't know. I just felt like there was so much of Halo 5 that was basically a hallway
Mm-hmm.
Like, similar to, like, Call of Duty or something.
That's a lot of Halo 5 and 4's level design is super restricting and compact.
Tight, yeah.
Like, I remember there's a sequence in, I don't know if it's 4 or 5, where you're driving a tank, and you're just driving basically in a straight line, and it's like...
It's so much less fun and interesting, and, like, I almost feel like half the fun of the old Halo games was how chaotic it was. Like, there was always enemies surrounding you. You never knew when something ridiculous was going to happen. Like, a guy was going to fire a rocket off your tank. Your tank was going to do 80 flips and land off a cliff. Like,
do you know that they dumbed down the AI in Halo 4 to increase performance?
Really?
To make it look better so they could advertise, like, look how good Halo 4 looks? They dumbed down the AI so the game could handle better performance.
Why couldn't Bungie just stay forever?
Now they have Destiny that I don't care about at all. By the way, does the story make sense in Destiny now? Because I don't think any of it does.
I don't know enough about it. As far as I remember from Destiny 2, no.
There you have it.
There's a bunch of different, like, alien races. They all want to, like, kill stuff. And there's, like, a speaker and another guy and some other dude. And they all, like, shoot each other. And there's a whole lot going on. There's, like, all this background lore. You have to read all these, like, logs and, like, listen to all this stuff. And there's, like, you have to read an encyclopedia just to figure it out. And I don't care. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know, I play like a game with a good story. I know the story by the end of it. I play Destiny. I have no idea what's going on.
Me neither. So, before we wrap up here, do you want to just go through what you've been playing, and then next week we'll actually talk about all the games that we've been playing?
Sure. So I am now, when streaming, I'm now going to start splitting my playtime. I'm going to do a single player game towards the beginning of the week, probably like 2 days. And then the rest of the week, I'm going to do Warzone. Because I like playing multiplayer. I like having fun with my friends. I like streaming Warzone. But I also like playing single player games. I want to make more time for them, and I want to have content for both. So I've been playing Prey, a single player game from 2017. It's really good so far. I'm only like less than 3 hours in, probably. I'm going to continue that soon. Probably tomorrow night. Been playing Warzone still. Then a lot of console stuff, obviously, because new consoles. I finished Spider-Man Miles Morales. Talk about that next week.
Played some Demon Souls.
Which I am garbage at, but I'll also talk about that. I played Sackboy the Big Adventure, Sackboy's Big Adventure for PS5, which is very fun so far. Completely beat Battletoads on Xbox Series
Which
X.
is terrible.
Which is lackluster, to say the least, but conversation for next week. And is that it? Oh, and Astro's Playroom. I have not completed that yet, but I did beat a lot of it, and it is very good.
So I've been firing off random games on the Xbox to see how they performed. So like I listed a bunch of games already that I looked at, like Sekiro, Ori, Halo, Gears of 5, Doom Eternal, Dragon Quest, Battletoads, and then we were playing co-op Sackboy. I platinumed the Spider-Man remaster for PS5,
which you had played before.
Yeah, I did play it before, but it was right when it came out. The game came out, I got sick, and I played it for like a week straight and beat it, and I kind of forgot about everything.
Those are the best games. The ones that come out right in the nick of time for you to be stuck in.
And I honestly, I really loved replaying it again, and I felt like I related to the characters, and I actually was invested in the story, and I really enjoyed that game a lot.
Those games, man, they're
good.
They're just good. Insomniac knows what they're doing.
So then I put some serious time into Ori. I want to beat that because I never have. And then I started Miles Morales.
The new Ori, right?
Yes. I'm early on in Miles Morales. I want to do Demon Souls, and then I've been working my way through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then pretty much all the games he mentioned: Battletoads, Sackboy, What was Astro's Playroom.
Yes.
And I'm also working on my Proteus level for a contest, and so far I have like the layout kind of in my head, and I've started work on it, and I'm gonna win the contest.
Let's go D hard.
Come back to this 30 minutes in the podcast when I win.
Let's do it. All right. That's all I have.
We're going to watch some Mandalorian, and then maybe at some point we'll talk about that on the podcast.
We could. We've only seen one episode, though. No spoilers.
No spoils, bro.
So that'll be next week. We're going to talk about all those games we've been playing. And we might probably have more games that we play before then, which
Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk comes out on Thursday.
We might have to have a whole episode for Cyberpunk. I'm not even joking. Also, I installed Ghost of Tsushima on the PS5 that I haven't played before, so I might talk about that as well because I'm going to try and get that going one of these days.
Cyberpunk, I am hesitant about because I'm
so scared.
It's so overhyped right now.
I'm so scared for it because it is so hyped. I feel like it can't win. Like it can't. No matter what it does, it can't win because people are legitimately saying like this is going to be the best game of all time. This is going to be perfect. They like delayed it 80 times. So now that they delayed it every time, there's more ammo for people to say, well, we found this bug. What were you doing with all those
It took
delays?
you 8 years, you idiot.
It shouldn't have taken you this long if I can fall through this floor. And it's like, dude, no one's ever going to be happy. There's no way this game can win. It can't. Everything's against it because everyone thinks it's going to be so good.
Yep, but that's a conversation.
Like, I'm trying to think of a comparison. It's like the new Star Wars series and like stuff like that. Or like the last like season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they had to absolutely nail it or you're dead.
It's so absolutely hyped that it has to be perfect in every single way somehow, which is impossible. So that's the end.
Yep.
All right, let's cut that off because we'll just keep going.
Yep. So next week we'll talk about all that and more. That's the Xbox Series X episode.
Probably be a longer one next week too. We did a shorter one this week because there's not many games for Xbox. But Xbox Series X episode of the Hard Mode Gaming Podcast,
episode 11.
You can find both of us on YouTube and Twitch. Mitsofting, Redsaw Q4, also Twitter and every other thing on the internet. Same names. YouTube. I said YouTube. YouTube and Twitch. I've been posting my Prey playthrough on YouTube as I go through. I'm just kind of like cutting out the stupid parts and then just slapping the whole thing on YouTube so you can watch that. It's kind of like a let's play if you like, me being awesome and smart and great, and playing Prey because it's a good game. And then obviously that's where this is too.
And I haven't streamed recently, but I will at some point once I get caught up on all these games. The console's just...
It's overwhelming. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's tough. I need to play all the games. I have to.
Me too.
All right. If you made it this far, thanks for watching.
That's it for episode 11.
Please like the videos. Please subscribe to our channels. And please comment and tell us something. I don't know. Say hi.
Tell us we're cute.
Tell us we're cute. Just say that you like. Don't say like, oh, PlayStation's better, conditioner is better. Nobody cares. Just shut up and play whatever you want to play on whatever you want to play it on. Nobody really cares.
Video games are great.
Video games are great. Play them however you want. Have a nice day. See you in episode 12. Love you.
Bye.